Here, for example, that's a water valve. These two, this is a water valve here, and there is a plan for all the valves that we have inside the building. And I'll take you in and show you those. Yeah. And they all have to be exercised. Now these valves are for wasting. This is from the pumps downstairs. They come through a valve here, and this one's open. It's going into this particular holding tank. This valve here, this goes to this holding tank. So if you only wanted to use one holding tank, you would just send everything into that one. That's holding tank number 3. Or you could put it in holding tank number 2 by opening the valve up. But normally everything goes into 3, and that's why you want to open it up, exercise it. It takes quite a few turns, and then you close it back down again. That way, when you do want to change, and this is the most important thing, make sure you put it right down. And when you do open these valves, you just don't open it all the way to the end. Open it to the end, and then back it off a half a turn or a turn. The reason for that is they don't get stuck. If you open them all the way, they're stuck. But even this valve that's open all the time, we just close it right down. There is a formula for the number of turns that you have to make, and it's by the size of the valve. And I'll get you that formula so we can put it in. So now this is closed, and I just open it back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is I believe it's an 8-inch, it's a 6-inch valve. I just turned it over 8. I lost track. 18 times. So, but again, you get to the end, you back it off. Fire hydrants. While we're out here talking about valves, at least our fire hydrants that we have at the plant, they have an open on it. You take a wrench. This happens to be closed, but I'm going to open it all the way. There you go. And on the fire hydrants at the plant, you want to make sure you go all the ways with them and you don't back this off. The reason, there is a valve inside that actually, because these are self-draining fire hydrants, so it goes down and plugs it. If you leave it open partially, the water is going out and coming up through the ground. So you open it all the ways, and when it does, that stem goes in and plugs the weep hole. That's what it's called. It's called a weep hole at the bottom of the fire hydrant. And then when you're all done, especially when it starts to get cold, you have to use this. You open it up, you're all done, and you shut her off. Crank it tight, and then you can open up this valve. Put your hand on it, and you can feel suction. So you know that the hydrant is draining.
Scared me.
Yeah, you feel the suction of it. So that way the water drains out, so if it gets real cold, it's going to break the fire hydrant. Now, the valves that are in the ground, and we'll talk about I've got a master plan of all the valves. Some are gate valves, some are butterfly valves. You take a wrench, drop it in, and now I'm on the valve, and then you just turn it whichever way you want. All the valves that we have, they open to the left and they close to the right. So this is a closed valve. This is an airline valve. And you have to go on the plans to figure out where everything is. And it takes a little bit of time to find out where things are. But if you're working on whatever valves you're working on, if you have pumps running, you've got to make sure that those pumps are shut off. So that you don't, here you get the valve open, now you close it, you could cause a problem. So you want to make sure whatever valves you're working on, where it's coming from. If it's some of the return pumps, it's from the blowers, especially if you shut off a blower line, the blower's running, you shut the air off, it's still running, it's going to blow off a relief valve and you do some damage. So if you're working on airlines, make sure those things are shut down for the time that you're working on them. But they all open to the left and close to the right. And you just put that in. And you're done. Now we'll go inside to the master map.